First, I'd like to introduce my co-host for the day. He's a great friend of the show, one half of Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. Please welcome Tyler Wolf.
Jonah, man, thanks so much for having me. I am so excited. I've got my rock and roll ready to go. I've been listening to Motley Crue all day. What a guest we have today, man.
Absolutely. What a guest indeed. And our guest today, he is a recent signee and a rising star that Ring of Honor has to offer, part of the Future of Honor division, and he is devoted to becoming the most bruising and devastating fighter in the business. Please welcome the Metalhead Maniac, Sledge.
What's up? What's going on, guys? Yeah. No, just kidding. What's up? What's up?
No, thank you so much for coming. I'm really excited for this. Tyler and I are looking forward to it. And so it's awesome having you here, Sledge. First, I just want to know how you're doing, what you've been keeping yourself busy with.
I've been keeping myself super busy with my Twitch show, different podcasts now since I've officially made my Ring of Honor debut.
Right.
I've done a amount of these things. I have at least 1 to 2 a day, which is cool, on top of trying to stay on top of my fitness and everything else I have going on. I try to stay busy. And I try to stay off the internet as much as I possibly can. So that's kind of one of those things. So
yeah, that's a good habit to have, especially now with everyone inside. I think everyone's screen time has definitely gone up considerably the past few months.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
And speaking of what you just said, you just made your ROH debut, a very great match against O'Shea Edwards. So can you talk about that experience a bit?
Sure. It's been a long time in the coming. I've been now officially under contract with Ring of Honor for March 1st. Fucking cable. Stupid technology. I've been officially under contract with Ring of Honor for a year, March 1st, and I just re-signed for another year. It's been a long time coming. I was nominated as Future of Honor Star of the Year.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Congratulations on that too.
I appreciate
the
that.
accomplishment.
I wasn't expecting it at all. I really wasn't. And then I saw it on Twitter and I was just like, fucking badass.
Oh, that's how you found out? Just seeing it on Twitter?
That's how I found out it was on Twitter. Yeah. I was like, oh, badass. I'm Future Star of Honor. Right on. Cool. And then I caught a bunch of hate from that. Why is T? Why is this? Why am I not? Yada, yada. It's whatever. Anyway. If people are talking about me, whether it's in a good way or a bad way, at least you're talking about me.
Exactly.
That's kind of the way I look at it. You know, the internet is so toxic, and if you're too worried about getting over on Twitter, you should worry about getting over with your wrestling career. And anyway, that's another whole other thing. But to get back to your question with O'Shea Edwards,
right?
A guy that I knew very, very well from the Ring of Honor dojo, trained with him almost every day. So it was one of those that I knew what I was getting into when I was facing him. I knew that I was getting in there. I was going to be bruised up. I was going to get beat up, but I wasn't expecting it to go to a draw. I wasn't expecting time to run out with us. So we're going to have to see what happens after, the match has already been announced. The match has been announced that we are going to be doing it again. I just found out on Week by Week this last week that we are doing it one more time. So the internet's an amazing thing. You find out a bunch of information off the internet.
Well, I'll tell you, the fan in me is really excited to see round 2 coming. You guys really beat the hell out of each other in that first one. And, you touched a little bit about the Ring of Honor dojo. Can you take us inside the dojo a little bit and just kind of what your day-to-day training was like in there, kind of who the trainers were, what they were teaching you guys, just to prepare you to get ready for TV?
There's a lot that goes on there. It's a well-oiled machine with Will Ferreira and Jonathan Gresham at the helm, man. It doesn't matter if you're a technical wrestler or you're a bruiser like I am. They're going to make you into what they need you to make you into. And that's bar none, all around good wrestler, whether it's technical, whether it's bruising, whether it's, they're very good at finding your strengths and finding your weaknesses as well, and trying to elevate your weaknesses to your strengths, getting you ready for TV, knowing what camera to look at, knowing what way to go, watching a lot of film back. Like if you guys had indie matches over the weekend, we would watch the film so you could see, breaking down psychology, and the list could go on and on the day of the day, man. But we would run a amount of drills. We'd have guest coaches come in. It was a very, very awesome experience. And they were just so giving and so well, wanted to see you succeed. was the best way to put it. Is they all wanted to see you succeed. Jonathan Gresham and Will Ferrell are some of the best coaches in the world.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. He's a pure champion. Of course, he's going to teach you some of the best in-ring technique that you can listen to, eh?
He's the best technical wrestler in the world. He really is. He is. And I've been able to wrestle him in like dojo matches. And I've been able to have one-on-ones with Jonathan Gresham. He's now starting to get the credit that he deserves, because this guy has been a grinder for years. And for him to finally get the recognition that he is getting right now with the pure division, being the pure champion, being one half of the ROH tag team champions with Jay Lethal, is just absolutely just phenomenal to see. And he's really trying to take the company and put the company on his back and run with it. You know,
what would you say the best piece of advice that Jonathan's given you so far?
Be better. Be the best you can be. If you're not in there trying to be the best you can be to elevate other people to where you were at, then you don't belong to be in there.
Perfect.
Yeah. And so Sledge, I want to let the people know more about your journey headed to Ring of Honor, of course, being signed there, but you've had a long standing career on the independent scene before that. I think you started wrestling in 2011, right?
Correct.
So Can you talk about that journey and then all the way leading up to getting signed, how that felt for you?
Well, when you get signed, it's funny because you're like, you feel like, yes, I've done it. I've made it to the big time. This is just everything.
Yeah.
And then you realize, oh shit, now I'm in there with sharks.
Yeah.
Now I'm in there with the top professional wrestlers in the world. And now you got to up your game even more. That's a scary thing. Because on the indies, you could be the biggest indie darling there is. Right? But when you come into a new place that have sharks like Ring of Honor does, the top talent in the world, that's a little scary. But then you realize that I'm here for a reason. I'm at Ring of Honor for a reason. There's a reason why I got picked to be here. So then that's why you show everybody why you're there. But to go back to your question, it took me a long time to get there, but I also took like a break in the middle as well. I haven't been wrestling for the full, I think 10 years. I had some addiction issues that I had to deal with, and then some depression issues that I was dealing with as well. So it wasn't a full on, I want to say my career really started taking off in 2017, I think is probably about right when I started really getting back on the indies and really starting to get my name out there more and more and more. So,
and when you were on the independent scene, who were some of those guys who elevated your career, like some great matches that you had that helped you get to where you are now?
Oh geez, there's so many.
I believe, yeah,
dude, I've wrestled just so many people. I like on my wall, you can see like all the like.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys can't see it, but this whole wall is done. But,
nice. That's awesome.
Anywhere, guys. Number one, Gangrel.
Yeah,
I mean, my finish is called the Detox, and it's the Impaler DDT that was gifted to me from Gangrel.
Oh, that's cool.
That's really cool. Yeah,
yeah. And I was like, "Hey, man, do you mind?" And he's like, "Go right ahead, brother." I said, "I'm going to be using it on television." He's like, "Go for it." And I was like, "Thank you." Because I've always looked up to Gangrel. I've always looked up to him. And even when I was a kid in the Brood, I mean, him walked in and
walking out, coming up in the fire. Yeah, coming up in the fire. That was so sick.
Spitting the blood, hints to red. No. And guys like AJ Kirsch really helped me out. One of the tough enough competitors. Chris Masters. Geez, the list can go on. Willie Mack. I really have to give my hats off to Eli Drake, aka the LA Knight now.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a number amount of matches with that guy, and he's always been so good to me. And I've wrestled him so many times, and it's just one of those things where it's like I get in there and I just kept learning. I'm trying to look at my wall here.
It's a good reference right there. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
Timothy Thatcher, Jody Christopherson, John Morrison. Every like bigger name you can think of that Sin Bodhi was huge in my career.
Oh yeah.
Kizarni.
Yeah.
I could see the similarities too. Yeah.
He was huge in my career, man. I was technically in the wrestling business, married to him for like a year and a half. I wrestled him almost every single weekend in different towns, Mexico, you name it, we wrestled. And just learning from that guy, Bestia 666, Damien 666. Man, just the list could go on and on and on about who has helped turn me into the wrestler that I am today.
Well, it's cool that you mentioned some international travel there. You've done work in Europe with Paige's family, if I'm not mistaken, and then all the way over to Mexico. Can you kind of explain the differences of working every style, the Lucha Libre style, the European style, the North American style, and just how you've incorporated that all into your game?
You have to learn you adapt or die. That's kind of like that's kind of the saying, right? You adapt or you die. And that's exactly what I had to do. I had to adapt. When I was in Europe wrestling their style is a very technical style. And what was so good about it, like while I was on tour there, is they were having classes. So I was able on my days off, because I only had like 2 days off. I think I had like Mondays and Fridays. And like I would wash my gear, and then we would be back on the road Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, double on Saturday, triple on Sunday, off on Monday. I wrestled like 30 something matches while I was over there in like 30 days. The tour was ridiculous. Anyway, I got to go under the Welsh wizard Jason Cross while I was over there and learn more technique and be technical of a wrestler. And then when I was over there in Mexico wrestling with Symbodi and Psychosis, and, guys like that, they taught me that the Lucha Libre style. On top of that, Jonathan Gresham, no one knows this, but he's a great Lucha Libre guy.
Oh, wow.
So same with Delirious. Delirious is a great Lucha Libre guy. So I got to learn a lot of that stuff from them as well at the ROH dojo, and just take what I learned from like Symbodi and Psychosis. Also from Mil Mortes. I've wrestled Mil Mortes multiple times. Ricky Madera is an amazing human being. Learning from him as well. Just all that stuff just kind of incorporates. You understand what I'm saying?
For sure.
You adapt or die. There's the best way to say it.
And you've mentioned a lot of fantastic names that you've been inside the ring with. But how about some guys that have maybe helped you show you the ropes along the way when you're first breaking in? Who are kind of some of the guys that took you under their wing, kind of broke you in, showed you the do's and don'ts of the business? Not maybe from a training standpoint, but helping you get bookings, helping just get your name out there.
Honestly, it's kind of a interesting story that you asked that. I've actually never been asked that on a podcast before, and I've done who knows how many podcasts I've done. It was kind of a fend for yourself kind of thing where I'm from. I'm from a very, very small area of professional wrestling. There's not a whole lot out here. There's a company that's called SinCal Pro that I helped start. And then there's another company, I think it's called Pro Wrestling Unplugged. But the guy who owns Pro Wrestling Unplugged is the guy who claims he trained me. And I'm going to put that in quotations. Yes, I was in his ring and I was rolling around in his ring, but he was never there to train me. So I got a lot of my training on the job. It was kind of like trial by fire. I only went to technical training for maybe 2 months before I had my in-ring debut.
Wow.
And then I was just on the road constantly. I had a look. I'm 6'3". I'm 200 and something pounds. I had a mohawk. I had black eyeliner, black fingernails, fucking metal to the core, And I still am that, but I'm just kind of more of an adult, I guess, would be the best way to say. And people they're like, dude, we got to get this guy. We got to get this guy. He's pretty decent. We got to get this guy. And I would learn. Like Rick Luxury was another California guy who helped kind of put me in contact with people. And it was just one of those things where it just kept roding until like in 2000. Whose phone's on?
Tyler.
I'm just
Don't throw me under the bus, man. I got my etiquette on silent mode all the way.
Son of a. No, you do that to me. You do that. No, I'm just joking. Until I got like my WWE tryout in 2013. So you got to think that I started training in 2011, towards the end of 2011. I went and got into some alcohol addiction problems and so on and so forth. And then I had a WWE tryout in 2013, and that all started within like a year and a half.
Wow.
Wow. Do you want to talk about that WWE tryout a bit? Was that a good experience for you?
We can. To be honest, no. And it was my fault. It wasn't WWE's fault. It was my fault. Yeah. I was so under the influence of everything that I had a golden ticket and I ripped it up because I was so out of my mind with addiction and with the pain pills I was taking and all the alcohol and all the personal stuff I was dealing with at home, that I went in there and I thought, the minute I walk in, they're going to sign me. And then I realized I was in there with like the best of the best in the world. And it had humbled me really, really quickly. I didn't come in shape, any way, shape, or form. I didn't really train for it, honestly. And it was one of those, hey kid, you're definitely not what we're looking for. You need to take this seriously, or you just get out of the business kind of thing. So they were very honest.
Right.
Is that something you kind of look back on now and use as fuel to motivate you to push your career forward then?
Absolutely, man. Because like I got a second chance at life. I wouldn't be sitting here today, man, if I didn't get the phone call that I got from like my best friend, who was my tag partner at the time. Like I would not be sitting here. I would be dead. Honestly, I was so bad that I would be like throwing up in the shower, but I'd be throwing up blood.
Wow.
I don't know if any of you guys have ever dealt with addiction or know anybody that's dealt with an addiction problem. It's not easy to just turn off, especially when you have everything that's going on at home and all the depression that I deal with and all that other crap